Hey guys and girls, so we're back and today I'm going to be talking to you about Peely from Fortnite. So this is found in Season 5 of Fortnite and it was in Hunter's Haven and I stumbled across it and I thought it looked pretty cool. It is our little yellow friend Peely, frozen in Carbonite. So obviously Mando's caught him and I just thought it looked pretty cool and it made me laugh. So I want to try and 3D print it. So I'm not very good with 3D design yet, so I thought, how can I do this? And I'm actually quite good with Tinkercad. I like Tinkercad. It's very easy, very straightforward to use. So I thought I'd do a bit of a remix. So I started out by searching Thingiverse for something already in Carbonite. So let's take a look at what I found. So if you search Thingiverse Carbonite, you get all these different designs. But I found exactly what I needed. And if we scroll down, there it is, the Carbonite frame. So let's click on this, and it's thingy number 3286251. So I'm going to download that. Okay, so that's going to download. Thingiverse can be a bit slow sometimes. One thing to note about this Carbonite frame is it's CC, it's Creative Commons with monetization. So you can actually sell stuff that you sort of make with this, so that's pretty cool. So there's my Carbonite frame, that's brilliant. And then I had to find Peely, so I did a quick search and I found thing number 4225397. okay, and that's a little Peely, so we're going to download that as well. Okay, then we're gonna, once that's downloaded, we're gonna head over to Tinkercad. Now if you haven't got an account, sign up. It is free to sign up and it's a great little piece of design software. So Peely's now downloaded, so we can go and flip over to our Tinkercad. So I've already logged on and pressed create. This gives me a blank workspace. So I'm now going to click import. I'm going to drop my STL files here one at a time and allow them to import, and that does take quite a while. So I'm going to just pause the video and then we'll come back once that's done. Okay, so that's all done. They've imported fine, no issues. So you can see here that we've got the Carbonite frame and we've got our Peely Banana Man. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip the Carbonite onto 90 degrees, and that means it's going to be flat when we lower it to the bed. So whenever you click on an item in Tinkercad, you get these little arrows. You can turn it left or right, vertically, etc. And then this little black arrow that points up here, you can move things up and down. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here so as I can get it aligned to the bed, like so. Okay, and then our little Peely guy, we're going to literally flip him over again to 90 degrees. There we go. We're going to lower him to the bed, but not quite to the bed, and then we're going to just bring him across into the Carbonite. And he's a bit big, as you can see, so we just grab a corner. Now if you don't hold shift, it will not maintain aspect ratios. You want to hold shift, shrink him down a bit, and then just drag him around to where you want him. I think that looks reasonably okay. Still a little bit too big, so I'll shrink him down a little bit more. And then, is he in the right position? So you want to look at the underside, and you can see he's just starting to poke through there, and that's not good. So we'll bring him up just a bit and get a bit more of his arm showing through that Carbonite. Bit too much, down a little bit. Okay, so good. We can't see him through the back, which is good. We're going to click on him, hold shift and click on the Carbonite, and then I'm going to come up to the align, and then I'm just going to click align center. So he's now perfectly aligned. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight him, and then I'm going to group using the group tool or Control G. Okay, and there we are. There's our Peely in Carbonite. Now you might want to play about with this. You might not be happy exactly where he is, so just highlight the whole thing and you should be able to ungroup. Okay, and then you can just play about again. Oh, I think that's better. That's much better. That's more like it. Group that. And how easy was that? We've now got Peely encased in Carbonite. So we're going to highlight him again give it a second. And we're going to hit export. Okay, and then we're going to export the STL file. The stereolithograph file. Or something like that. Okay, so that's exporting. It does take a little while. And then we're going to bring it into our slicing software. Now, you could do this on FDM. I'm going to do it on resin. I think the resin print will probably come out really, really nice. So that's what I'm planning to do. So let's load up Sheetu box, because I am using Sheetu box. It's just kind of easy. It just kind of works. And at the end of the day, it works. So here we go. So I've opened up Sheetu box and just dropped the model in. Now you can see here the green area is actually my build plate. So at the moment this is way too big. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go to scale and I'm going to scale it down to, I'm going to start with 50% and see what that looks like. That's a little bit small. I can get it bigger than that. So let's go back to scale it up to, let's try 65. There we go. So that's spot on my build plate. Okay, just going around making sure that it's on there. I am going to print it flat on the build plate, and I'm also going to print it solid. I'm not going to print this hollow for a couple of reasons. The first one is I wouldn't really know where to put the drainage holes. I could put one in the bottom there, and I could possibly put one in the back, but I kind of just want this to be a solid piece, so I want it in all its sort of glory. So let's not hollow it. I'm going to print it solid. To hell with the resin, you know, it's not going to cost that much. Let's live it large. So let's slice that up. We just hit the slice button, see how long it's going to take. So it's only going to take 2 hours 21 minutes. And that's the thing about resin printers. So if you're printing flat like this, it's going to be a lot quicker than if you're printing vertically. If I was to actually rotate this and print this upright, for example, not that that will print very well, but let's slice it. And it was 2 hours, that makes it 13 hours. So obviously the flatter we can print things, the better. And because I'm printing it solid and not hollow, I don't think there's going to be any warping by printing it flat. So if we print it flat, yeah, it's just, I'm having a funny 5 minutes there. It's not going to warp, so I don't need to tilt it at all. So some people will tilt flat objects like that and then put some support and stuff. It doesn't need it. So let's get this onto the printer and see how it comes out. Okay, guys and girls, it has printed. Let's take a look. It's alive. That looks pretty cool. So I've done it in the blue resin, sort of transparent blue resin, which actually looks pretty cool on its own. But we are going to get it washed, so it's going into the wash and cure ultrasonic machine now, and we'll give that a blitz. I love this little Mercury Plus curing machine. So if you haven't seen the unboxing video, check that out. So that's just giving it a quick spin and rinse. And then we'll get it onto cure. So this is it curing now. So not too shabby at all. And this only takes about a minute, 2 minutes to cure at that, which isn't too bad. Oh, there's a little bit. Oh, the groove had a little bit of resin in it, so I have to do some cleanup on the bottom. But that's not a problem. And look at that. That is just awesome. Peely in Carbonite. So we've got it cured. I'm going to use some textured Citadel paint. I'm using textured because I think it would just give it a really sort of nice look and feel. Just literally going to do quite a lot of dry brushing. Brush is completely dry, just putting off, and a little bit of this goes quite a long way. So yeah, it's not too bad. Just going to go over all the areas, get it covered with this textured textured paint. I usually use this for sort of bases on little miniatures, gives it a nice texture, but this should work quite nicely. Yeah, so just going around all of this, around the feet, just making sure I get into all of it, and then I'm going to pay some attention to the sides. Might need a little bit more. And the brushes I just get from the range, just cheap brushes. You don't need anything special. I have got an airbrush, but obviously the textured paint won't go through that, which is well, it's no big deal. If you try to put that sort of textured paint through an airbrush, it's going to clog. So you would never try and do that. You could use like the airbrush to do some touch-ups and some shadowing. There's multiple ways you could paint that. So I'm now using some shade. So I've painted the whole thing, and I'm just using some earth shade, Citadel earth shade, just to go over it. And so with this, it's just to give it that old sort of effect. And then what I'll probably do, I might not. I'll let you know in the final once it's done whether I go over and put some highlights on. And then I'm just smoothing that into all the little crevices. And then I'll go over like all the detail on the side, and then over his hands and feet, over his face, just to get it looking sort of weathered, bit of a weathered effect. Obviously, no doubt the machine Mando's using is quite old, but there we go. So I'm just using a finger just to smudge it out how I want it. It's not really the way you'd normally use sort of a wash like this, but you know, it will do the job. It's a little bit tricky with the texture paint, and I know what this is going to dry like, so I want it to get the right effect. Whether I do or not, you can comment below and let me know whether you think it looks any good. And while you're there, just what's your favourite Fortnite skin? So loads of different skins at the moment. Mine's my all-time favourite's got to be John Wick. Mr. Wick is the Baba Yaga, Boogeyman. He is pretty cool. So I'm just going over again, just into all those little cracks and crevices, and you can see the actual earth shade is highlighting the texture on the textured paint, which will give it quite a weathered effect. You know, and I'm not overly worried too much about too much or too little. It'll all just fall into place once we're done. And then I'll put some highlights on the actual body, just using a very light grey, just a lighter grey paint than the textured paint I've used. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to let that dry. And here's the finished article. So I'm pretty happy with how that's come out. I like the textured effect. I think it looks pretty good. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching.